Hey, howdy guys. It is episode 21 of the TCS podcast. We are so excited. Today we've been talking about marketing a lot this month, but we're talking about the marketing, specifically social media, which has shifted. The shift is now, how are cleaning companies winning with social media and possibly Google becoming less important? I know I said that out loud, but it is happening. The marketing game for cleaning companies is changing. It's changing very quickly. And if we are still relying solely upon Google, you might get left behind. In this episode, we're going to break down the massive shift that's happening with our customers when they choose cleaning companies when it comes to social media. Today's buyers, especially younger buyers, I know it's hard. We're in our 40s. We barely just figured out how to work social media, but our younger buyers are using it every day, and that's how they're choosing their service specialist that they want to use. So social media is driving 20 to 25% of leads to cleaning companies. So how are we going to create an authentic, high converting content that doesn't make it feel fake or AI generated? What is the meta and how do we even work that? And actually, what is it and how do we use it to generate real bookings? And then the difference between posting content and actually running profitable campaigns. We're going to talk about that as well. And how cleaning business owners can start simple even without a marketing team. So without further ado, I have brought two amazing people on this topic, the two that I trust the most, and I'm going to bring them to the stage and let them introduce themselves. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Yo. How are you?
I got Drew with 5 Door Media and Jasmine Creek, the Director of Marketing at Maids and Moore. Drew, you go first. Give us your spill. Why are you an expert on this topic? And thank you for being on our podcast.
Well, as always, thank you for having me. As she said, my name is Drew Larison. I am the CEO of 5 Door Media. We are a marketing agency specifically built for the cleaning industry. So we help out a lot of residential cleaning companies, commercial cleaning companies, window cleaning companies, exterior cleaning companies. We always joke, like, if you use soap and you make dirty things cleaner, we're here to help you grow your business. Like, that's our goal. So excited for this conversation, excited about social media. I'm a big fan of social media and what it really is taking to be successful on social media. Because I tell you what, it is a landscape that is changing so much. And so is Google. The whole digital marketing landscape is changing so much right now. And all it's taking is 2 scary letters to really push a lot of that change, AI. I'm excited for this conversation. Super pumped to be here with Jazz, which I do have permission to call her Jazz. We're friends enough now. I got permission the other day. We're like good enough friends now. I can call her Jazz, so I'm pumped about that. But yeah, thanks for having me as always.
And you look like you've got a tan. Like, what are you, like, hanging out at the beach? Like, what are you
A
doing?
little bit. I was at the beach all day today, pretty much with the family. I'm on like a family spring break, so we're like at our Airbnb. I have like this bright like sun, they call it, in the sky, and like being in Indiana, we've just survived winter. I haven't seen it that much, so like they have a lot of it here, which is great. Yeah.
That's awesome. You were just in a snow globe the other day
I
at
know.
CleanCon, and now you're at the beach. Awesome. Okay, Jasmine. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then I've got to follow up with something right after this. But go ahead.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Jasmine, or as close people call me, Jazz. Everyone can call me Jazz.
Close people.
Jazzy.
I've been working for Maids and Moore for almost 3 years now. So I initially started off in sales, so I was doing all the bookings initially. And then at the time, I was getting my master's, my MBA. I got my undergrad in marketing. So I always knew that was kind of the trajectory I wanted to go in career-wise. And so after a year doing sales, Holly and Caitlin pretty much gave me an opportunity to be director of marketing for Maids and Moore. So that was amazing because that's kind of like my wheelhouse, what I've always been interested in, and especially social media. I'm Gen Z, so I grew up with Instagram since like 7th grade. So I've pretty much been around it for my whole life. Just outside of social media, I also do like our email marketing, newsletters, text campaigns. I also run all of our paid ads on Meta. So I do like the research for creative. I do the creative, the editing and the campaigns. I manage all of our like Google local leads as well, and then just help out wherever anyone needs me. I'm pretty techie, so if I need help, I can help where I'm needed. But it's me.
And the TCS, she also works for the cleaning software. So if you ever see our cheesy, I think, brilliant reels. Jazz is behind those. So
Yes, all the
Cheesy in
TCS
the
social
best
media.
way. Yeah.
I know. Well, you know what? They're real and entertaining, and we're about to get into that. Like, what actually creates good organic content, and then ad content is obviously completely different, but we're going to get into all that. But the reason why I have you two specifically on this podcast is, and I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. At what point do you, obviously, when you're small, you cannot afford to have an in-house marketing person on your team, and you reach out to a digital marketing firm, and sometimes you never get away from them. You never actually switch to in-house marketing. But this is two very different perspectives, because Drew has a digital marketing firm. He helps tons of all size types of cleaning companies all over the nation, and then Jazz is more of a in-house for Maids and Moore. So I get the question a lot, like, how did you know when to bring it in-house? And there's not like a certain number or a certain thing that I knew, but is been the best decision I've ever made, because we have been able to really take off because of all the stuff that we were about to talk about as far as keeping it consistent in the branding and all of that. It really did make a huge difference. So before Jazz come in, we were getting like 1% of our leads from social media, and now we're up to like 20% of our leads coming from social media. And digital marketing firms can do that for you too as well, but they also need content. So if you're not giving them the content to get out there, they're not going to do a good. Drew can't do his job and Jasmine can't do her job, but I couldn't get enough content to my digital marketing firm. So I was like, well, I'm just going to hire somebody in-house to do it in-house. And it has paid off tremendously. But
And agencies love that, by the way. Like some of like our best clients are when we do have not just like a point of contact on the client side that's like the owner or maybe like an ops person, but like someone where their whole job is that creative side. I always say like marketing is like art and science, right? And like some of the best client relationships we have, the client really handles most of the art side of things. So that is content creation, that is like video creation, graphic creation, things like that. And then we can handle the science side of things, which is the ads, the targeting, the metrics, the KPI, like all of that. And sometimes that relationship is the best, because you're right, because we're always reaching for more content. It feels like sometimes. And we know if it's not someone's full-time job, it's a burden, right? It's a pain to have to like keep supplying the agency with content. AI is changing that a little bit. We're testing some things, but like sometimes it's the best of both worlds could be a great fit. Like you have somebody internal, boots on the ground that like Jazz, I know you're running around filming content all the time, and like then that content can be sent to somebody to like help it be the best it could be through marketing strategy too. So it's the best of both worlds. Like our friend Miley Cyrus used to sing through Hannah Montana, it's the best of both worlds.
I do like it.
That just happened.
Okay, so let's talk about the shift. The shift. I know we're all like the AI shift, but this is social media shift. Like, how, Drew, I have a question for you. Do you think that Google is still going to matter in 3 to 5 years with ChatGPT or Gemini and all of these AI things, as well as social media taking over a lot of the marketing? How do you feel Google's going to have a play in 3 to 5 years? And why should we be moving in the direction of AI and social media?
Great question. And I guess it's important to clarify too and just say like Gemini is owned by Google. So like, yes, I don't think Google is going anywhere. I think they're too big of a beast. They are too big to fail. I just think you said it, like there is a giant shifts happening, probably like bigger shifts and faster shifts than maybe we've ever seen in the digital marketing world. But big shift, little shift, a good marketer's job is to always like pivot along with those shifts, right? And like, all right, here's what the audience is doing differently now with these platforms. How does our brand fit into that strategy? How do we make sure that because marketing is just the game of attention. If you really break down like what we're doing with marketing, we are Gary Vaynerchuk used to have a phrase, we are day trading attention. Like that is all we do as marketers. We are looking, where is attention being paid and how does our brand fit into that same environment, right? So whether it's AI, Google, Gemini, Grok, Chat, Facebook, Meta now, Instagram, the game is the same. We're just following attention. When it comes to like, is Google going to fail? I don't think so. I think the shift, Google owns too much of it already. I think what the biggest part of the shift is going to be is how we're interacting with these platforms. That's the biggest shift. And like, that's the job of a marketer. Like I said, just always to go with the trend, not against it. right? And that's just trickier said than done. And like, honestly, that's what's made SEO so difficult in the past, is because Google has never straight just came out and said, you do these 10 things on your website, you'll be ranked number one. Because if they did that, guess what?
Everybody would do.
Everybody would be ranked number one, right? So there's never been like a follow this exact roadmap. And that's kind of what we're seeing with AI now. Like Chat, Claude, all the other LLMs that are out there, they're not telling us do exactly this to show up on AI results. Because once again, if they did, everybody would be showing up, right? So like it's nothing different than it's a bunch of practitioner mindset with all these different changes that are happening. How do marketers go with the trends, go with the changes? But also you've got to have patience too, right? Because of that. And there's no roadmap. No matter what scammy marketer on the internet is telling you what the roadmap is, no one has a roadmap, guys. Like no one knows exactly what to do, right? Because nobody's told us exactly what to do. We're testing, we're tweaking, we're trying new things. But as long as that's the mindset you have, is like, I am a practitioner, I am a tweaker, I am a scientist, I'm experimenting with different things. Those are the people that are going to make it out to the other side.
And you think like Google, like I guess I will reword my question a little bit to you, but like traditional Google ads, where do you feel like the
Even
pay per
those are
click?
changing. Yeah, even PPC ads are changing in a huge way. We've seen massive shifts in the last 6 months with like the accounts that we're running on Google. The PMAX campaigns have changed drastically compared to like just traditional search keyword PPC ads. We're seeing so much more success with PMAX campaigns, which makes sense if you reverse engineer like what a Google search is looking like right now. Someone is searching, if they're still in like keyword, key phrase world, cleaner near me, house cleaner near me, they're still, that's the terms they're searching. They've got to get by a Gemini result, a map pack, a Google ads, and then they get to the organic results. Like we keep packing that above top of the fold on Google that is changing so much. So what we're seeing, these PMAX campaigns, they are not just triggering on that search result page. If someone is searching for your services or services that you participate, your ads are going to start following them around the internet inside of Google's ad network. So like that's the big pivot we're seeing. We're putting so much more dollars inside of PMAX campaigns than we were for search campaigns, due to people are getting to that search page, asking that question, searching, they see that Gemini result, they're not clicking a thing. They're not even scrolling, right? And if you think about it, that's probably what you're doing too. So there's like a new term in the marketing world called a no-click search. That's what's happening. So we can't fully rely on somebody making that buying decision just on that original search page. So those PMAX ad campaigns, they travel and they follow that user around the internet, and they're using AI for like the algorithms for those campaigns as well. So even looking at PPC, still is strong, still is prevalent. Impressions are through the roof with all of our clients right now. So there are still tons of people searching for these services. How they're interacting with that search page has just changed so much. So we've got to pivot, we've got to change. And those PMAX campaigns are helping us do that. And like PMAX, they keep adding more and more functionality to them as well. Like, so you can have like negative keywords on PMAX campaigns. You know, you can have tons of functionality that didn't exist 6 months ago. So I think Google is investing more and more in it too.
I think it's funny because half of our viewers are like, is he speaking English?
I hope I'm. The answer is yes. PPC still matters, but like everything else, you have to look at data to see what matters more and what's available to you to try different things.
Yeah, and then I think also like tying it into social media as well, I feel like that shift is like the trust. Like it's changing where the trust is starting. And so people are obviously still Googling house cleaning in Austin, but when you do have like a social media presence and you're real of like your team cleaning a kitchen or like cleaning therapy kind of content, by the time that they've seen your company 3 times, they've pretty much decided that you're the company that they want to go with. So then in turn, that's when they're going to Google and they're just confirming that decision that they had already made on social media.
That's just good branding, right? And like that is good branding, staying on top of it, staying in front of people, and not just staying on top of them or staying in front of them, but like staying in front of them in a way that's adding value, that's making them laugh, that's entertaining them, like, you know, showing you're the authority in your space. That's it, man. That's you following attention, right? And like noticing the reels is where that attention is. Plus, it's the highest organic reach that Facebook is allowing. Like the reach you get off of a reel or a short form vertical video compared to just a graphic post or a static graphic post is bonkers, right? And we know that's what people are paying attention to as video content. It's the current language of the internet. So it works in multiple different ways. But that's just a great example, Jess. Like that is following the attention, following the trends of what people are paying attention to. and then putting your brand in that space, making your brand show up there.
And so we got off on a little bit of tangent about Google. So I want to like refocus us back to social media. And I am the oldest one, I'm pretty sure, in this group. I'm not going to say how old, but
I'm very young.
so I'm probably the worst, but you just said it earlier, Jazz. You said you were a Gen Z. So when you're you're a homeowner, like you are sitting in your home right now. You're a purchaser. You're gonna call and get a cleaning service. Explain to me how your generation is gonna pick up their phone and go to social media to find a cleaning service. Like, just what does the consumer do? Like, what do you young people do on social media to find somebody?
Well, the stat now, I think it's like what, 43 like percent of Gen Z uses TikTok or Instagram as a search engine. So if you're not on either of those platforms, then they're probably going to end up going with your competitor. And now that like my generation is like becoming homeowners and they're having kids and they're not having as much time as they used to, they are looking to outsource different services, cleaning obviously being one. And so when they are trying to look for a cleaning company, they're going to Instagram and saying usually what you would do on Google, and they're looking best house cleaning in Austin. And all these videos are going to pop up. And so they're going to scroll through those. And then once they find one, they're going to look at your page and see if you are like, if you post consistently, what do your cleaners look like? What does your team look like? And just different things here and there is like I feel like my generation is like very detailed. So they're going to look at all the things on your social media
They
and
want
then
the
they'll
tea.
come up with their decision. And then that's when they'll go and Google you.
Yeah. And then
think
the sales team is like, oh, they're already ready to buy. They stalked me.
Yeah, they don't want to talk to anyone. They already saw all they needed to see. So they're just going to go ahead and book themselves without talking to anyone.
This was over 10 years ago. Like one of my first real jobs in marketing, I worked at a car dealership. And like I said, like this was over 10 years ago. But yeah, I love what you're talking about, just like consumer knowledge and research and how long it's changed. But I worked at a car dealership. I was like a marketing director for a car dealership, and like there was a stat I saw that 80% of people since the internet was evolved know more about the car that they want going into a dealership than the actual salesman does about the car on their lot, because of that research. That was over 10 years ago. Imagine what that number is now, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I mean, yeah, if you're doing it right, it should make sales easier because they're primed, ready to go. Now, there's two different people on the internet, right? There are those people that are actively looking for a cleaning company, but then on social media, you definitely have like more lower intent buyers starting out as well, that they're just seeing the ads because you match the targeting that, fit for the company wanting to target. So like that's a different conversation. But for those people that are actively searching, you're right. I mean, they know more about your company than maybe you do, the salesperson answering the phone call, because they're going to do that research.
So to clarify that, just to sum that up for everybody that's watching, is that they're going to Instagram and TikTok and searching just like we used to go, or we still do, go to Google and search.
Yes.
So
and I'm
if
part
you're
of that 40% going on Instagram and searching what I need to search.
Yeah.
So I don't
What do
want
they call
cleaning
it, like-
service owners to feel like panicked and be like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time to do all this stuff. I need to hire a Jazz. No, you don't have to. You can hire a Drew, or you can, just small little things like even delegating some of the before and after reels and pictures and having real competitions with your cleaning service, like professionals. You might find that you have a cleaner that's really great at social media that's younger and that could do it for you, and you could pay her a $500 bonus a month to create your content for you. So there are ways around it if you can't, because I know a lot of us are like, just, I only have 3 employees. I can't afford that. You change your mindset into, if you don't complain about not growing, because if you want to grow, you got to figure out a way to do it. And there's always a way to solve a problem, even if you don't have money. You just got to think outside the box and make it happen. If you're not good at it, find somebody else who is. Figure out strategically how to get it done. I don't want to hear any excuses. I hear the excuses all the time. Like, it's too hard. I don't know what to create. You can figure it out. Any kind of problem you can figure out. So I wanted to address that really quickly because I'm a mindset person and there's no excuse. You have to do it. 40% of Jazzes are searching on social media. So it's only going to get bigger and bigger. So you've got to make the mind shift change. So this question is for Jazz. What makes content feel real versus fake or like overly produced? As I see some really overproduce stuff on and I just go past it. Like, how do you create that balance? Because we're not all like movie directors or content creators. How do you do that?
Humans. You have to show up as humans, especially on like social media. People like nowadays with AI, people can tell what's AI generated or what's not. Well, I kind of take that back. There's some things that you can't tell it's AI generated and you have to like double look and you're like, is that AI or is that real? But I feel like for the most part, people are going to know if it's fake content. So you have to have that authenticity. Show your humans, show your cleaning staff, show yourself. And if you don't want to show yourself, maybe do like take some B-roll content of your cleaners cleaning and do a voiceover. So
Yeah.
have it be your voice instead of showing your face. There's different ways to kind of like be creative, but I personally would try and stray away from using just simply AI generated content, especially in such like a trust-based industry. If people are going to your page and it's just AI generated content, they're probably going to scroll off of it and think it's like a fake company. So be human, be authentic, be real. And it doesn't have to be like super professional either. Like it can be casual. Like a few tips that I have when you are like looking for content is most of us are probably scrolling on our phone after work while we're just sitting on the couch. Go through your explore page. When you find yourself just scrolling, like save some of the things that you think you can bring to the office and recreate with your team. Also, like on Instagram, there's a few like if your company is set up as a business page and your professional dashboard, if you go to like the tools, it gives you inspiration content. So it shows you like content that's similar to what you post and also content what's popular with your followers, which I would focus more on that because obviously you want your followers to engage with whatever you're posting, but it will show you different types of content that you can recreate yourself with your team in the office. Most of the time, it's under 10 seconds video. And I mean, it may take a few tries to, get all the clips and whatnot, but take one day of the month. And when you find yourself scrolling, look at all your saved content and bring that to the office and have some of the members in your office help out with getting that content created.
Yep, I love them. I call them social media days. It's my favorite day, especially when y'all make me dance. I probably have to drink like an entire bottle of wine before you film it.
Yeah.
I get it done.
But yeah, it
Whatever
really
it
just has
takes.
to be like once a month, honestly. And then if that's not possible, I mean, there's also like I myself take one day out of the month to go to a house to film the cleaners. And with that, you don't have to be on the camera. You're simply filming your cleaners and what they're doing so people can see what your processes look like in the home. So that's also pretty, like if you are scared to be on camera, that's another option as well.
And you can plan it out to where like if you don't have a Jazz and you need to create the content and maybe you need to send it up to Drew, you can, or if you're doing it yourself in house, like create the calendar for the month, create all your posts, schedule them, and you're done. So maybe 2 days a month, you can focus on getting all your content recorded and then create it and schedule it, and then you're done. And then moving on to other things. So, but if you don't make an effort and you don't do it, you'll wind up not being present on social media, and that is not going to be good for you. When all of these Gen Xers are about to start making, or Gen Zers are about to start making all this money and they want to spend it and they don't have any way to find you. So I have a question for Drew. What is the biggest mistake that you see cleaning companies making on social media advertising? Like in this, I'm asking, we just kind of spoke from a more organic standpoint of what Jazz was talking about, like content and stuff. But as far as, we haven't gotten to the meta part yet, but the meta is like where you take a post that you have or you generate content and you make it an ad. And so this ad is following whatever target you have around, and that's specifically going and showing your advertisement. So this is Drew's expertise, like what you create for that ad on social media that you're paying people to click on. What do you do in those ads? Because are they different than the organic? And then also, like, what do you see the mistakes that people do with that?
Biggest issue when it like specifically with the creative, or are we talking like the entire process?
I'm talking about just ad specific, like the ones that you're actually promoting in ads.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, biggest issue I see is people are still spending meta dollars like 5 years ago. And what I mean by that is they are still just posting a graphic with a offer or a graphic with a before and after photo. And people are not dumb. And like going back to like what Jazz was talking about with like how to make content stand out and like how to make it authentic, people consume more content now than we've ever consumed, right? Like we are consuming more pieces of individual piece of content than ever before. So we are so good at sniffing out what is real or what is fake, as well as like what is good and what is crap. And like honestly, and going to like this whole conversation about like the trends and following trends and changes, a lot of people are still posting Facebook ads and meta ads and Instagram ads the same way they have 5 years ago when this thing called video came in during 2020 and just changed the entire game, right? So like look into video, really invest in video for your meta ads. I think is really important. I don't think we're running one meta ad campaign for a client right now where the video creative asset is not the most successful asset in that campaign. I don't think I can't think of one. We're learning a lot, so it's hard to keep track of all of them myself, but like I can't think of one campaign where that video asset is not the most successful that exists. So video is the number one. Second one, and Jazz kind of talked about this too, like don't overthink it, right? I think we get way into our heads when we're especially new to being on video content and we way overthink, what should I say? How do I start it? How's my hair? Is my makeup okay? How's the mic? Is the mic okay? Are the lights? Do I need to buy a studio? Should I buy a camera? People overthink it. And like I see our friend Molly is in the chat and like
Yes, she is.
Molly's Facebook ads are the best because they are so simple and easy and clean and basic and like just it's just Molly, right? I think one of her best ads she's ran with us is her sitting on the steps of her office just talking like a selfie style video. There were no graphics. There were no swipe animations. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing fancy. It was Molly just talking, right? And like I think how that works is people don't want to be sold to, so they want real, just chill, authentic videos. But also like we just know when something's an ad. And if you just start your selfie style video like a normal other piece of content that someone's going to see online, they just think they're watching a piece of content and then they find out it's an ad. You know, so hopefully you get them through that hook and you're good after that. But I mean, people are overthinking it. So people are still advertising like it's 2018. And then when they're getting into video, they're overthinking it. Last little tip, I think this is a rule that we've made with our agency. For every video ad that's running inside of a campaign, we have 2 to 3 graphics also running behind that video. Because what we found running campaigns with just videos, we're lucky enough to trick somebody to find out a video isn't an ad one time. They're probably not going to watch that video ad twice, right? So if they interacted with it, they engaged with it, those graphics are coming behind that video. As long as those graphics are the same messaging, the same look as what the video ad was, we're seeing success from that too. So don't just fully rely on video. Never just use one video. Have multiple different creative assets that are hitting that retargeting on the Meta platforms as much as possible too. And we're seeing a lot of success from that.
I had our TCS Success Network had one of a guy or another marketing agency as a guest the other day. And he said something, and I'm just testing. He said something in that meeting that like kind of floored me a little bit on the ad campaign. And I was like, I never thought about it that way. But he said that they can tell that they're ads. So whenever you're creating them, that should be the most creative content that you have as far as like making it funny or like having the most branding within those, because you can tell, like you can tell when you're scanning that you're like, oh, here comes an ad and you just like, get off me. But if it's something super funny, and I think people forget about humor is probably one of the most attractive things is the humor thing. And so like to really put a lot of thought in those because people know their ads and just make them where they want to watch them. But he also talked about the retargeting too. So think about humor.
I mean, just anything you're investing extra dollars in, you should be putting the effort in to make it great, right? Like if an organic piece of content flops, which they do, right? Like it's just kind of how that game works. Not every organic piece of content is go viral. No, clients, there is not a switch on the back end of Facebook for agencies. Like go push the go viral button. That doesn't exist. I wish there was. That'd be nice. But, you know, like organic piece of content might flop every now and then, but like for the stuff you're really investing in, you have paid dollars behind, it is smart. Like, let's be really intentional about it. Let's build a campaign strategy behind it. Let's make sure we're really using our dollars the best way we can.
So I'm just going to ask Jazz first. Give me an example of a post that you've had recently that brought you the most leads. Like, exactly what was this post? And then I'm going to ask you too, Drew, so be ready.
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
Like, give me a specific example. Like, exactly what post was it that you're like, whoa, that worked?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say like that brought us the most leads, but had the most engagement. And then in turn, we were able to use as like a top of funnel ad. But the one that Roxy made, and again, this is just a few like 2-second clips that were just in the office. And the text overlay was AI is going to take your job soon. And then the bottom part is me with like a colon. And it's Roxy doing different things like around the office that obviously AI cannot do.
I saw that. Yep.
Yes. And I think it got like 250 likes and like almost 7,000 views. So
Hold on,
both
I think
on
we should-
TikTok and on Instagram, it performed well.
Trying to find it. I'm going to show it.
I think it
I
was,
saw that piece of content. Made me laugh. Yeah.
yeah, it was a few.
She was like
weeks ago.
filling like cleaner bottles.
Yeah, she was like filling
Like,
one
it
of
was
her
like
cleaner
physical things.
bottles,
Yeah.
doing laundry, and
I found it.
restocking the shelves, and
Yes.
literally they were all like 2-second clips, and it took no time whatsoever. So, and that was one where I just found myself scrolling on the explore page, and I was like, oh, we can do this trend in the office. Boom, and we
Let's-
did it. Yeah, that one.
Watch it. Let's watch it. Why is it doing that? Okay, here we go. Come on. Ah! What is that? Okay, never mind. Let's not do that. I don't know what
Scroll
happened.
up a little bit. There might be like a.
Yeah,
Maybe
if
just
y'all want to
refresh.
just go to our page, go to Maids and More, give us a follow,
See?
scroll down,
Yeah.
and
Good.
then you can,
She's getting that
There you
engagement.
go.
She
You're
wants
getting
everybody to go
followers.
do it.
and then you guys
Maids
can
and More
follow all of our
Austin.
trends.
There you go. I'll see if I can't get it. I think it's my browser, so I think I'll get it to work on a different one. I'll try to show it a little. Oh,
That
go ahead.
specific piece of content works for multiple reasons. It was funny. It's also like news related or news hacking is what I like to call it. Like, it was AI, something. So like we're catching people's attention with that. It shows your people, right? Like, that was your real person in that video. Like, so it hit all the boxes. It
Yeah.
was good.
And then it also
Yeah.
like in turn relates to our industry. So like when you are like finding trends, like try and relate it back to like the cleaning industry and your company and what your company does. So it's not like you're not copying it step for step or word from whatever trend that you find when you're searching.
100%.
Well, let's get caught up with our comments. So Molly's in the house. Caitlin said, good tips, Jazz. Gabe is saying hi. Todd Northcuff is here. Look at Drew, multitasking, keeping up. And then Angela Marino is here too. So hi, guys. If y'all have questions, make sure you comment on either the old feed or the new feed, because I accidentally cut off the live. So let's talk. What is a good example for you, Drew? Give me an example of a post that you saw perform really well for either one of. I know you already used the Molly example, but is there any other examples that you've had
Honestly,
success with?
it's so consistent. Just like we call them talking head videos, or we call them like selfie style videos. Any of those are just working well, where we're super intentional about the first 3 to 5 seconds need to have like a really good hook, which might be something silly, or like in that video Jazz was talking about, like the text that says AI is coming for your job. Like, that would grab my attention, right? All right, well, I've heard this before. What is AI doing now? What jobs is it taking today, right? So you're like news hacking that like idea. So like just something in that first 3 to 5 seconds is so important to grab their attention, because we know it. We just scroll, right? Like we just dig and dig on our phones, and if it doesn't catch my attention within the first 3 seconds, I'm out. So like, but those selfie style videos where it's a real person casually sitting somewhere, casually in their office or anywhere, really. I think going back to Molly, like she has videos where she's in her kitchen at home, right? So it doesn't even look like an office. So like just those selfie style videos just do very well. And I just know for a lot of people, it's a scary thing to be on camera, but it's kind of like working out. You just got to get your reps in. You get more comfortable with it. You just got to get your reps in, be on camera, be on video. Even if you don't post it, like film yourself just to get more comfortable with the idea of you being on camera.
I know, it's crazy. So question for you guys. And like B2B is different because we're not talking about B2B. We're talking about B2C, like business to a consumer. What do you feel about going live? Like, is live a thing, or that's really more of a B2B thing, like business to
That's a
business?
great question. I don't know. I think the element of going live would be a very different creative element if it didn't post a video that someone could watch later. Like if it was just like you either watched it live or you're not going to see it at all, it'd be a different thing. But a lot of people like they go live and then you've got another video on your page that somebody can watch later, a longer form piece of content. So like I think that helps out a lot. I don't see a lot of B2C going live unless maybe you're at like an event. I mean, it's like a chamber of commerce event, or it's like some sort of job fair, or something like that, like a local community event. I could see some
Hmm.
value into that. But
Or
I
like
mean, I
the
think it
office
helps.
tour that you did,
Yeah.
Holly, like at the Austin office. I think something like that also would make sense going live if
Hmm.
you're showing like our space. Trying to think of other times it would be useful.
I think it's very useful in B2B.
Yeah.
But B2C, I don't think it's maybe as much. So we've talked about like graphic images, posts, right? They work, but they're better used in ads on a follow-up after a video. We've talked about reels. Reels are very popular right now. We've talked about selfie style videos that you can post that are relatable. We've talked about just going live. Then there's, for us old people, there's all of a sudden a couple of years ago, these stories popped up and everybody's posting stories. Like, what do we do with stories? Like, what is the difference between that and actually posting? And I'm being dumb and asking for the dumb people. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think stories are just, another way to get yourself out there and have your audience be constantly looking at what your company's doing, what you're posting, what your cleaners are doing. I would say we could be stories are a little bit more time consuming, I would say, if you are trying to be super consistent with it, and because you want them to obviously be engaging. So you do have to take time to like do the editing if there needs to be, and then find the right captions to overlay and do polls are a good thing. We do those every week or so. We'll do a poll. We do like Transformation Tuesdays. So that's when because we tried like before and afters on actual posts. Those didn't seem to convert very well. So we kind of like transformed them into stories. So then we were doing Transformation Tuesdays, and those are stories. Team of the months, those will be on our stories.
Are they on post and stories or just stories?
Our
Because I
cleaners,
get confused and I'm like, am I supposed to post this and put it to my story? Or am I supposed to do one or the other? What is the story?
yeah, on Instagram, like we'll do like our cleaner team of the months on stories, and then we do like a spotlight of our management team, and for that we do actual posts because I do a lot of editing for them. So like they'll give me a few snippets of like fun facts, and so I have to upload that in Canva, and so it's more time consuming. So that would rather be a post, but for just a quick picture of our team, cleaner team of the months, that's the perfect time to upload a story.
And
Perfect.
stories too, they are similar to like what Twitter used to be. It was like real time stuff since they do expire in 24 hours. Like having something up, like documenting your day, a story is a great place for that, right? If like you have somebody like that could be a part of their rhythm, posting behind the scenes content, maybe sharing content that was posted as a normal like main feed post as well. But since it has that 24-hour rhythm, like that's why they call it a story, right? Like the story of your day, like that's where that comes from, right? So like I think real time updates, raw, real, behind the scenes content is really good for stories. But I'm also not against just any content you post could also go to your story, because I know some people on social media, they never look at posts. Like the only thing they look at is stories. Like that's the only content on Instagram. They don't scroll. They just immediately click up top and they go through stories. Like that's how they engage with the app. So like to make sure those people are seeing content as well, posting anything that you posted as a main feed post to your stories is a smart plan as well. But like, I like it for like the behind the scenes, documenting your day kind of content.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what you said, Drew, like real time. So like if you're
Yes.
like at an event, so like when we were at CleanCon, we posted a lot more stories because we had a lot
Yeah.
of things going on within those like 3 days. So we had, more content and showing people like what we're doing throughout the day at CleanCon. So I think events are also another time to post stories as well.
And I think I had somebody explain it to me the best way is like if you build your stories so that people like to like watch them every day and they know they'll go away, then you're giving them information that they want to look at you every day and you're constantly popping up and branding yourself. So make your stories a little suspenseful, and the fact that it's like, what the hell is this crazy cleaning company doing today? Like, oh, look at
Yeah.
this. They just spilled the entire buddy jug of all purpose all over the floor. Like making it
What's
like,
that behind the scenes content, right? Which
Yeah.
I
yeah,
think should be a goal of all social content, like for your followers. Give them something that like they feel special they're seeing because they decided to follow your page, right? It's like
right.
it's their be backstage pass, kind of content. Like, oh, I'm seeing this because I follow them and like they crack me up. That's why we follow influencers, right? Because we
Hmm.
love their content. We want to see more of it. We feel like we're special. We know this person, so we're following them. Same type of connection can happen with all social content. Like
Yep.
give them that backstage pass to like what's
Yep.
going on. Yeah.
And it's limited. So it's like, I gotta look to see what she's doing today. She's always doing something interesting. Or that company has always got some funny stuff going on. And if I don't
Yeah.
follow them on their stories, I won't see it. And so I don't think it's as important as for B2C as more of a B2B, but I still think it's interesting that you can use it. And it's just more ways that you're popping up on feeds and more ways that you're popping up on pages and more content. The more content you have out there, the more you are going to pop up in front of a person in order for them to be able to see you. So awesome. Okay. Now we're going to switch to something really boring. And if either one of you would like to share your screen at any time, you can have the share down there, but let's talk about the meta. The meta for us old people is overwhelming. When I go in there, I'm like, oh, look, I can create an audience. But how do I do that? And is the meta tied to what? Is the meta tied to TikTok, Instagram, all of it? Like, how does it work? Meta for dummies.
Well, I mean, to put it in the most simple terms, Meta is simply the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. They probably own Meta. The what are their VR goggles called? Are they called Meta goggles or what are they? Or is there
Meta glasses, I think.
Meta
Yeah.
glasses? Yeah, like they are simply the parent company. So like when Facebook used to be just Facebook and then they rebranded to Meta, it is so that they could have a parent company. The reason you see Meta when you are doing paid ads on Facebook and Instagram is because those ads can go to multiple platforms, right? They're not really just called Facebook ads or Instagram ads. They are meta ads because all within one ad platform, you can have ads pushed out to all of the meta platforms, right? So like it can be confusing. Wait, is Meta Facebook? Why is it Meta now? What is Meta? That sounds intense. Is this VR? Or you know what I mean? It can be overwhelming, but like all it is like that is the new parent company name for all of the companies that Facebook, old Facebook, has acquired or built all in one. So that is what Meta is. Now, when it comes to like creating ads on the platform, that's a whole different conversation, right? Like probably need a whole podcast on Meta 101 paid ads, and things like that and what you could do. But just to like layman's terms, Meta is simply the parent company name that is on top or the umbrella of all of the companies that they own. And the reason you see it on the ads is due to you can push ads with one button to all of their platforms.
Nice. And meaning Facebook and Instagram and
And WhatsApp, Meta owns
Thread
WhatsApp as well.
as well.
Threads, yeah. They own a few other ones too, but yeah, they own quite a bit of platforms underneath
but
that
not
parent name.
TikTok.
Correct. They
No.
do not own TikTok.
So TikTok, you have to advertise directly with TikTok.
Yes, correct. Which they have an ads platform. It's not cheap in our experience. It is not an expensive or not a extremely affordable ad platform for the average small business compared to like a Meta when it comes to like just dollars per impressions and how many people you're seeing content being shown to. But they have an ads platform separately for TikTok. Yeah.
And Jazz, have you used both Meta and TikTok ads?
We primarily use Meta. We use TikTok more organically. We actually have been seeing our numbers be pretty good lead-wise because we partnered with an influencer and her video actually was the best performing video on her page. So in turn, we've just been getting this influx of leads every few months.
Love
And
it.
it's all, I mean, it's not free. We, did a free cleaning for her, but I mean, that was, I don't know, 8, 9 months ago, and we're still getting leads from it.
I was hoping you would say that. So that was actually like a really interesting idea that you just had. Explain to me how you found an influencer, and what kind of trade-off did you do with her for that advertising? Like, explain more in detail what you just said.
Yeah, so we've actually worked with probably 8 influencers now. I think 8 or so, both in Austin and in Houston area. Initially, I was just looking I would just scroll like influencers in Houston. I would look at like their followers, what kind of posts they would post if they were family oriented posts, like if they had kids and whatnot. And I scripted this email. I also scripted a DM. So I would send them both. I would send them a DM on Instagram, send them an email to their whatever email that they have in their like link tree, and ultimately just kind of hope for a response from them. And we got a few responses from like 4 or 5, and then I think the other 3 actually, after we had already established relationships with a few influencers, other influencers saw their post, and so they actually reached out to us. And yeah, the trade-off essentially is just a free cleaning depending on what they're looking for. Like the ones that reached out to us, a lot of them were move-out cleans, and so it was just a one-time clean, and in return they would make a reel, a few story posts, and promote that on their pages. And then the other ones that we reached out to, they were more of a ongoing service. So either like for 2 months, bi-weekly services, or once a month for 3 months, they would get free service. And again, in turn, they have to do story posts each time our cleaners come. And then they also would have to do a collaborative reel for them to get the free services.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Have you experienced any in the ad? Do you guys do this in the digital advertising world for your customers, like finding influencers and making those connections, Drew? Oh, your volume is off. I can't hear you preach, brother.
No, you're good. It was starting to get windy, so I wanted to make sure you couldn't hear like all the wind. That got brought up literally earlier this week, I think, on a client call, asking if we've had that before. It's not something we manage. However, Jazz is talking about, and actually I think it got brought up at CleanCon. It was a question from the audience if somebody had done that before. And I think is it Donnie or Danny? I forget. He was at CleanCon, and he says he's been doing it for years and had a lot of success with it. Jazz, from just the part you've done it could be a lot, like, because you're negotiating like what they get, what you get, and like,
yeah, and
like what
sometimes they're not
influencers
the
can be
best
dramatic
at responding.
Yeah.
They don't do what was asked in the initial email, and so it can
get
get a little
messy.
sticky.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we've had good success with influencers. We haven't had any in the last few months, so that's on really what I'm trying to do right now is find 2 good ones in Austin and Houston.
Okay. So if I had 5, okay, this one's more for Drew on the agency kind of platform. I have $500 a month I'm going to spend in marketing for my cleaning service. What are you going to do with it? How do you allocate it?
And I have so many questions.
Okay, pretend I'm your client. Let's go.
Well, is this the only marketing you're doing?
No.
Or what are you already doing?
I'm already doing SEO and Google clicks.
Google PPC?
Google.
So are you asking just for social?
Just social.
Okay, just social. Yeah, we really think if you're diving into lead gen paid ad campaigns, $500 is about half of what you'd recommend to start with. Like $1,000 paid budget on Meta is a really good paid budget where you're going to get a lot of data back. You're going to get a solid amount of leads that can, make a return. So if you have under 5, I know it sounds crazy, but I would look into spending time creating some really good organic content that we were talking about earlier, like those vertical videos, and possibly using some boost dollars on them and seeing how can we get more content in front of people and see what type of content works for your audience specifically. Paid ads is just a world. It's such a, like I said earlier, a practitioner world where you need a certain amount of budget to really experiment on what's working, because there's an easy way you spend a little, not enough, and your ads just are not going to be seen by enough people or not seen enough by a certain amount of people, and you just burn the dollars. It's just not going to do anything. So, I would really invest in creating a process for creating vertical video content, getting on those reels, taking advantage of that organic content reach that exists with that type of content. But then also just looking at how can we get it in front of more people and maybe use some boost dollars for it. There's pros and cons with it. You can't really track leads well with boosting. The targeting is not there as much as it should be. There is able to have a call to action, which is nice when you're boosting a post. $500 is a sticky dollar amount for social to really dive in.
That was another question I had. And this is also something I heard somewhere. I can't remember what it was. When you're running a meta ad and you put the call to action button to where then it takes them to call you directly or something like that, they say that you have a higher conversion if you direct them more towards the website and not use the call to action button. What is y'all's feelings on that?
Well, that call to action button can take someone to a website.
Or that
It's more
they're
about
not as good at leads. Yeah.
yeah,
Are you talking about the lead form, Holly?
the on app forms. Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Fill out in
Yeah.
Meta.
Yeah.
We tried those out. Well, we actually like met with like a account manager for Meta. He told us to basically do that. Did not work. We were paying a ton and got pretty much 0 leads from it. And so we stopped doing that. So we direct them all to our instant quote form.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay, how many times, both of y'all answer this, cleaning service, how many times a day, a week should they post?
A day? Well, a week, I would say if you're just getting started, I would try and do 4 to 5 posts a week. So you are able to get the content out to your audience. And then once you do start gaining a following and you're seeing that engagement be a little bit more consistent, then I think you can dial it down a little bit. Like, right, we do 3. We do 3 posts a week, along with, story posts and then TikTok and then
ads.
Yeah, and then ads as well. And then cross posting to both Instagram and Facebook. But I would say around 4 to 5 if you're starting out.
To me, this is less of a quantity conversation. To me, it's all about how many pieces of quality content can you make a week,
That's true.
right? Because I think anybody can create 20 pieces of content a week, right? Anybody could take a crappy photo or create a very crappy templated graphic like super quickly. Anybody can talk to any AI and said, make me 50 social posts. But to me, like if you're really looking to use this as a tool to help grow the business, this is a quality over quantity conversation. How many quality pieces of content that you're proud of that you can look at, and like if you were the user on the other side, would you engage with it? How many of those pieces of content can you create a week? Start there, be consistent with it, have somebody be accountable for you to help create it. Because that literally might just be one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Because I'd rather see more quality content than just noise, But like once you figure out both, that's the sweet spot. When you can consistently make a quantity of quality content, that's the sweet spot, right? And like expectation wise, you are not going to get that your first week of content creation. It's going to take a minute, or you might have to have a team. You might have more like people helping, but like that's the sweet spot. And I look at the quality more than the quantity for that kind of conversation.
And I love, like, okay, so if you're a cleaning service owner and you're lost, go follow a lot of other cleaning services right now. Follow Maids and Moore. There's a lot of good ones out there. I love Jen Rogers' posts. She cracks me up. Oh my God, there's so many people that crack me up with their posts. And I'm sorry, I may steal your idea. You're in Tulsa and I don't need, like it's going to be fine. Nobody in Austin's going to see it. So
we talked about this before, like before you can be a creator, you have to be a consumer. Like you have to consume the content on the platforms that you're wanting to create for. You can't just jump in and not know the language or what works. You have to be a consumer before you can be a creator and consume other people. It doesn't have to be, Jazz, you were talking about just like what's the page called? Like just a research page on Instagram. They can provide content ideas, but like literally just search cleaning companies and like just follow a bunch and like see what they're doing, consume that content, and then answer the question, like, how do we turn this into art? What's the Maids and More version of this? What's the TCS version of this? Right. And like, that's where you can start really pumping out some stuff, but you've got to become a consumer before you become a creator.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And like you said, it doesn't have to be cleaning companies that you follow. There's tons and tons of accounts that do the research for you. They're already they're finding the trends that are trending this week. And so if you follow those accounts, then you'll be able to see the trends, take them to the office and see if you can film them. And again, in your own way.
100%.
Awesome. Okay, so we're getting to a close. I have one more specific question. So you're doing all this. You're not making excuses. You're no excuses. You're taking 2 days. You're filming, creating, scheduling. It's starting to pay off. Well, we think. How do we know? How are you tracking it? Like, are we tracking view insights, clicks, calls, explain to me how we track it. Like, how do I know it's working? Because it's a hard one to kind of measure. Because a lot of it, social media is branding. I think it's a lot more effective than you think it is because people will see you on social media. maybe you can't link it directly to that, but then they'll go to Google or to your website after that. So sometimes it's tricky to know that they actually did originally find you on social media. So what specific metrics do you look at in social media that kind of gives you an idea that you're growing and people are seeing you? Not necessarily accounting that particular sell or customer to social media, because yes, we can do that. But what other metrics do we need to be looking at?
Yeah, I think for Maids and More, I'm just looking like back at our metrics. Back in 2024, we were only really tracking our followers, the average likes we were getting on a post, which were at the time like 10, 7,
Oh, okay.
9. The accounts that we were reaching, and that was it. We weren't tracking how many leads. Well, we were like holistically, like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, we were like counting all of those as one, as like social media leads. But for Instagram, like specifically, it was really just the followers and how many likes we were getting. And then once we saw those numbers like trickling up, then we started, okay, now let's count how many leads actually are coming in. What is the close rate on those leads? And once we started to see that Instagram and Facebook were working, that's when we did start to run ads on Meta. Then at that point, we're tracking like cost per lead, the ad spend, monthly revenue. Are they one times? Are they biweeklies? And so now we're at the point where we are seeing ad spend, CPL, ROI, customer acquisition costs on all platforms. So it just shows like once you start seeing that growth in followers and engagement and the reach, then you can start adding more metrics to see what is working and where do we need to be spending our money.
If you're doing that in-house, like what you just described is exactly how you should do it. Because I think the digital marketing world, we are blessed and it's a curse at the same time with how much data we're given. Like there's so much data, there's so many metrics. It's overwhelming for people, right? It is like, dear me, what are these? Marketers love acronyms, and there's so many acronyms, and like I don't even know what half of them stand. You know what I mean? Like everything's an acronym of some kind, and then they're confused, like which acronyms matter, which one should I look at? Start with some very basic KPI, get into a structure of tracking those, whether it's spreadsheet or there's softwares that can help track data, and then as you build, so should your tracking, right? Like so should the data that you're looking at, because data is so powerful, but it's also really easy to get overwhelmed by data and then just get off track, right? Because it's too much. Like slow and steady, start simple, start basic. I will say we've talked a lot about video today. I think a really important video metric to look at is average watch time. And it's not just views, honestly. Views number is one of the most talked about metrics with videos, but at the same time, it's also one of the biggest vanity metrics to me, because Facebook will count a 3-second view as a video view. So like, right? But like, I love seeing like how long people are actually on average watching the videos. Average watch time is a really cool stat. That's when you can see if they're dropping off quick, your hook's not strong enough. You need something more shocking up front. You need to like grab their attention better, like all of that kind of stuff. So like average watch time is a really important metric that I'm like starting to look at more. The more we're doing videos, the more we're doing video ads and things like that.
Yeah.
I do like
I
that
think
one.
also to add, engagement rate is another one. So like as you are continuing to post more and you're trying to see what's resonating, engagement rate is like your total interactions, like your likes, your comments, shares, reposts, etc., divided by the accounts reached. So you do know what's resonating with people, what they are liking, and not just how many people saw it as well.
Yeah. And if you have a crappy engagement rate, just don't do that style of post anymore. It's not working.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you'll be able to know really quick what's working and what's not.
Yeah.
Reach is such a vanity. Reach can be a vanity metric as well. How Facebook counts as a reach is if, as someone pulled up their news feed, your content populated on that initial load. So they actually could maybe never even scroll down enough to see that piece of content, but Facebook is still like tracking it. So like I say, like it's super easy to just get overwhelmed and like, no, we have to look at this. These are the numbers. Like some of it is a little bit of vanity metric, but I mean, they're all pieces to the puzzle. The puzzle we're building with tracking should always just be cost per lead, customer acquisition cost. How much money did we make off of this effort, right? Just classic ROI. There's like all those little metrics we just talked about are little pieces to that overall big puzzle. Is it making us some more money? Is it growing our company, right? Like that's the big question for any sort of marketing spend.
Well, as we wrap up, guys, if y'all are watching live, which we have several people, if y'all have any questions, let us know. I'm going to ask you, Jazz, one closing question, and then Drew one. So what's one thing that cleaning business owners need to stop immediately in their marketing if they're doing this?
Always posting a sales post. If you're constantly posting an offer or we're running this promotion, get X amount off your cleaning, people are just going to tune that out. You do, again, they want humans, they want relatability, they need that authenticity. So if you're just posting every sale you have every week, every month, then it's not going to resonate. So
They're going to be like, man, this cleaning company has a lot of sales.
yeah.
Like, do they suck? They're always offering $50 off every time I turn around. And you've said it before, like, what are the categories? Like, education, funny, what do you like categories of types of posts?
So I've recently kind of shifted it a little bit because this is like more scalable and it's clearly connected to like revenue. So like the first one being like generating demand. So these are going to be your generating demand posts. These are going to be attention grabbing. You're pulling people into the world of cleaning and you're asking people to get interested in what you do without asking for a sale though. So these are like before and afters, time lapse of like an oven cleaning or a shower cleaning, POVs, your trending reels. Again, when you're doing that research, find trending reels. And then like that second pillar is converting that demand. So obviously, you do want to have promotional posts here and there, but not every single post. So now that you do have those people engaged, you want to turn them into customers. So these are offer focused, promotional partnerships with influencers. Those are, promotional posts, testimonials. So these are probably going to get less likes, less comments. Doesn't mean it's not working, but that usually is the case. And then kind of like that last pillar is like loyalty building. So similar to that first one, you really want to touch on like emotional, deepening those connections, building that community of your followers. So these are going to be like the behind the scenes, team spotlights, company wins, and even throw in like a few giveaways here and there to keep those relationships going with your followers.
Awesome. And then Drew, your closing question is what is one thing that they need to start doing today to grow in 2026, specifically related to social media?
Switch your mindset from creating to documenting, I think is a tip I give a lot of people, because I think when you talk about I'm creating content, that's when things get overwhelming. And then you freak about being on camera. You're scared about which camera you're using, your lighting, all of that. But if you switch it, like I'm not creating, I'm just documenting my day. I am documenting what's going on in this business and giving people like that backstage pass that we were talking about. It's a whole different thing, right? It's just you're documenting the day. You don't need to be this content creator / business owner / HR professional / accountant / like everything. I love when
All the
cleaning business
hats.
owners, like, yeah, like they call them like chief bottle washer. That title always makes me laugh. Like you've got a lot going on. You don't need to be this content creator also, but document what's going on, right? And that just gets you into a rhythm that if you fall into that rhythm and you're documenting, you're posting those documentations that you're doing, it's amazing what will happen. People want to see it. If they didn't want to see it, they wouldn't be following you. I think we forget that sometimes, right? People want to see the documenting of your day and what makes your company special. Show them, but don't overthink it.
Absolutely. Another one that I think that people get completely distracted about with social media is just making it perfect. And I think you should just start this week and just start posting stuff.
Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while. You should have seen me when Jazz was trying to get me to post for the cleaning software. I was just like, oh my gosh. I was so subconscious about it. But now I'm just like I make content during our podcast today. But I did have someone just ask me, oh my gosh, I had to jump off and jump back on. Where can I find this podcast to rewatch it? All of the cleaning software's podcast, which I usually only have time to do about one a month. And I know Drew's probably going to yell at me because I should probably do way more. I probably should have had social media and broke this down into sections.
As much quality podcast as you can, not just as many podcasts as you can.
Exactly. So we try to do them once a month. And if you need to find them, you can scroll on TCS's Facebook page. But probably the most organized and best way to find the cleaning software podcasts are to go to our YouTube page. Jazz has organized them all beautifully. You can watch all 21 of them that we have. We also have webinars that we've posted there. Lots of education. The cleaning software is here to educate and empower the residential cleaning service. We're also co-founders with CleanCon, which I've got to give a shout out to CleanCon. We just finished an Indy in Drew's hometown. He's actually my partner in CleanCon. The whole Maids and More team was there to support us, the whole cleaning software team, the whole 5-door team, the whole Live Bright team. We are really changing the industry and creating this movement. Couldn't be more proud of the people I've surrounded myself with. And I think as a cleaning service owner, you need to surround yourself with people who have good intent and aren't trying to go out competitively outdoing each other. That's not what this is about. And so with that being said, on top of going to YouTube to find all of the cleaning software's education, you should also go to mycleancon.com and purchase a ticket for the September conference that we are having in Austin, Texas. It's going to be awesome.
It is.
Yes, we are going to have dancing, dance, live band kickoff, networking party, and 2 full days of education. Go to mycleancon.com and check it out. And I am going to call this episode a wrap. If you guys stay on for a while, I don't see any more questions.
I did just want to say, if anyone's still on, I did make like a little deck of kind of like the strategies Maids and More uses, like the different profiles that I follow to find the trends, and then also like all the tools and resources that I use to make all of our videos. So if anyone wants that, you can email me, Jazz, Jazz @maidsandmore.com. And I will
Awesome.
give it to you.
I might drop it in the Cleaning Software Success Network too.
Okay, yep.
For all of our current customers. So thank you guys. I'm going to stop the live. Bye. Have a good Thursday. Hold on one second.